Welcome, everybody, to the January 16th regular business meeting. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a motion to please call the business meeting to order. So moved. Carole. And a second. Linda. All in favor? Aye. And may I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
So moved. Jen. Second. Charlie. All in favor? Aye. All right. Welcome, everybody. We do appreciate the 5:30 start time. We have some concerts and one Webster girls basketball game tonight that the board and some of our cabinet members would love to attend, as visibility is one of our goals. So we appreciate the extra half-hour start tonight. And with that, let's welcome our liaisons.
Hello everyone and Happy New Year. We are so excited to report what's been happening here at Webster Thomas. Although some students were a little sleepy, maybe sad even to begin school again after break, but everybody seemed to be quite refreshed and ready to begin again. In Model UN, students had the opportunity to compete at the Central New York Model UN Conference in Syracuse, New York, and did tremendously well. Congratulations everyone. Next up, our PTSA is doing a can drive at King Cans to support our schools. Please take your items to 1183 Bay Road. And then from the athletics department with indoor track, the team competed at RIT last Saturday, and Gianna L tied the high school jump school record, placing second. Jada K was second in hurdles. Patrick K was third in the 100 meters. Jane C won shot put, and then Wiley V was third in weight throw. Aiden H for second in pole vault. Congrats, guys. Within boys basketball, the Thomas Titans lost a hard-fought game to Hilton Wednesday night, 69-62. In girls basketball, they played at Churchville Chi-Li tournament over the break week. They beat Dansville in the opening round, 39-35, and then they played in the finals against Churchville Chi-Li and won 54-45. The girls faced a tough Hilton team last Friday and lost 62-47. The Webster Thomas wrestlers competed in the Haynes Memorial Tournament in Oswego during the break week. The team finished as co-champions with Niagara Wakefield. The Titans were back in action Wednesday evening with a dual meet at Gates Chi-Li. The Titans won the match 74-0. In boys swimming, the Lakers hosted Grease Storm last Thursday evening, and they defeated the Storm 93-40. Within boys hockey, the Titans lost the New York State-ranked Batavia United from 5-2. And then with girls hockey, the Lakers played a very talented Scanatiels team, and then the girls lost 6-3, but played very strong in the second and third periods.
Hi. Course selection process has just begun, and teachers have been explaining in classes to students what they can take next year and recommendations for them, and students are now recommended to have conversations with their parents and counselors about what it looks like for their decisions. Titan Service Scholars just got back from their trip from the Dominican Republic over break, and we heard amazing things about what they accomplished and the amazing people they interacted with. Now there's this Global Citizens Conference on March 20th at Nazareth College, and the main purpose of it is to expand College of Culture and create safe and nurturing environments for everyone. New Vision's medical program has begun the hunt for next year's students, and there will be a field trip on February 7th to recruit future seniors. And finally, Shrek the Musical, there's a stage crew meeting this Thursday to really start the production of Shrek. And as the stage manager, we're really excited to get started. That's all for Thomas.
Alrighty, good evening. So I'm sure that y'all have observed Roman is not here today. Unfortunately, he is suffering from a bit of a head cold and could not make it today. So, how was everybody's winter break?
Great.
That's great to hear. I know mine was good, and I know that it gave the students of Schrader a good time to rest up to finish off this academic semester, and things are looking pretty well. In fact, going straight into sports, the Schrader hockey team has been doing very, very well, running an 8-2-1 record, making for a very successful season. In fact, the hockey team currently sits at number 1 in the state, which, for those of you who know a lot about hockey, gives us a promising slap shot at the state championships. So, on to the wrestling team. The wrestling team has also been doing very well. They performed well at a couple county meets that we've had recently, and I've had the pleasure of talking to a few kids that were on the wrestling team, and they are all very, very confident at how they're going to do at sectionals and maybe even states. So, and then on the academic side of things, Schrader Speech and Debate team took second in the Greater Rochester Area Tournament, hosted at the School of the Arts with our duo interpretation team, taking first in our dramatic interpretation team, taking first as well. Some speech and debaters in our team already qualified for states, guaranteeing them a spot to compete at the state championships in New York City. Nationals will be hosted in Chicago this year, and members of the team are hopeful and pretty confident in their ability to make it to Nationals. The team, including Roman and I, will be competing again in another area tournament this weekend at Brighton. So, lastly, for some miscellaneous news around Schrader, I'm just keeping things short and sweet today since we're missing Roman. January 9th marked Warrior Day and Warrior Night, which is where members of the Link crew and student council, such as Roman and I, got to give all of the 8th graders of Spry a tour around Schrader. It was a great time. Roman and I got to meet up with Mr. Anderson, who was our 8th grade ELA teacher, so it was great to meet up with him. We had a great time showing everybody around, and a lot of people asking, wait, so where are we right now? So that was a great time, and after that, we had a student Q&A panel where some students got to ask some questions to all of us. Roman and I also got to participate on that. So it's looking like the 8th graders are pretty hopeful and have a good shot next year. So we're all very, very happy about that. So for my last bit of news for y'all tonight, I don't know if you all remember, but last month when I was here, I talked about my Boy Scouts troops bottle and can drive. Well, we finished, and I am more than happy to announce that we collected over 24,000 cans. That's over 24 cans per house on average. Now, to put that into a little bit of perspective, that's about $1,400 in donations once the cans were turned in, which is great news. But all that was done through the planning and execution of 8 Schrader students. So this wasn't a huge group. This was 8 Schrader students that were really determined and put their hearts forward. So I'm very, very happy to announce that the troop, despite it being our last year, is going to have plenty of funding, and we're going to go on some long-distance campouts this year, which is really great to hear. Great. So I hope I wasn't too boring. But that is all of the news that I have for y'all tonight. I wish you all a happy end of the semester, and I look forward to seeing y'all again next month. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
We tell Roman we hope he feels better.
I will do.
And we certainly won't tell him that he's the reason that you go on. Thanks, Tristan. Thank you very much, all 3 of you. You did a nice job.
Following those 3 wonderful people is my honor and scary. I'm so glad I brought treats. It's my way to get through it this month. Figure out each month how to get through that one. You do a wonderful job. Here you go, all of you. Love you. All right. Tonight's Happy New Year. It was wonderful seeing you. We saw many of you in December in the buildings and again in January. Thank you. It means so much to all our WTA members and everyone. Just a few things that I will keep short and sweet tonight as well so we can get to the game. I took a look at the different websites in the districts. I took a different direction for tonight's report. I want to have 2 parts. One is called Across the District. When I was looking at all these, I thought it would take, 2.5 hours. It took a lot more because of what people are doing, what our schools are doing, all because of our children. And it's really neat, and it deserved a lot more time. And I was able to do that. Postponed my observation, but I was able to do that. Manage that time. One thing, of course, dogs. Here comes the Long Island, dogs. They're in almost all our buildings, I believe, and it's so wild to see our WTA members have the dogs trained to help our students, to help the stress, to help the anxiety, to help the everyday things that are happening in our lives be much more bearable and have much better solutions. We look and we see and we get that outcome, but what the members have done behind the scenes to get their dogs certified is pretty cool. They have to pass obedience classes, but there's a prerequisite to the obedience classes that they have to go through. So it looks like an 8-hour, 10-hour, it's much more. And I really have a deep appreciation for all those who do it, because we've always seen kids' faces light up. We have been very fortunate. Watch now, this will be the week I see a kid duck into a classroom. But I've always seen kids' faces light up. And in the middle schools and in the elementary buildings, it's all over our websites. It's all over our schools. What a great way to take it right through life. Across districts, the libraries. Whether kids, they look like they were in like these Snuggies of windows. And there's true joy on their face. The book might be upside down, they might be reading it differently, but the book's open. They're reading it, they're enjoying it. You can tell our members and our schools have created these welcoming and inviting spaces. Across the district, our literacy program, meetings on December, from 3 to 5, people dedicated to talking about what makes a great literacy program and how we can have it in all our schools. And UPK through 12 members are included on that. I would love to be a little too close to retirement, and I didn't want to take someone's spot. But you think about that, from our elementary schools, UPK, to having our literacy experts, to having the cultural diverse responsiveness to it, filling in all those. Those are not easy T's to cross and I's to dot, and we are going after it. Our PT, across the ridge, our student liaisons mentioned, our 8th graders are getting ready to be at 9th grade. It was, again, renewed energy. The energy's there, even though Lauren said it took a little while to get back in. The energy is there, but when you bring 8th graders over, you know who the 8th graders are walking around the buildings. But they had time in the library. They had time in the art rooms. They had time down in tech to really see that high school, if you don't have a sibling that's been there before and you have not been involved in activities, what it really looks like. And the WTA members who figure out a way to, in a sub-shortage, to make sure students in their classrooms are still loving, still learning and loving to learn, and they are adhering to the needs of our future freshmen. It's amazing. It's so cool. And the things that evolve each year, you can see something that's been added or something that was taken out because of the truthful, honest conversations that are being had. With that also comes right from conversations having last year to this year of what can we do when people are stressed and they don't make the right decisions and it comes into place in the hall. What are some of the key words you can use? What are some of the key responses that you can do? But even better, what is a way we can try to prevent it? What are some of the signs we can look out for that we haven't had to look out for in the past, or that are just a little bit more because it's that time of the year? And those conversations to be worked and have people from our behavioral specialists and our admin presenting to us in a way where people are moved up at 7:30 in the morning and looking at the edge of their seats in an auditorium where it took 40 minutes to almost have a bingo game. That was awesome. It was awesome. And leading with that person, I'm going to leave you guys with that person, our PTSA. What they pulled off on Sunday, Melissa Schmidt, and the event that was had, over 1,000 tickets, over $13,000. This is amazing. We did not coordinate on the planning. Our WTA members, there's roughly about 25 to 30 of them that volunteered to play against the Wizards. I cannot wait to see the films, see the clips. They look like they were having a spectacular time. Our Oak Tree Award, the nominations are out there. The deadline is February 1st. And making sure the people eligible are, if I read it correctly, UPK teachers, making sure people know that. Teachers, UPK through 12, school counselors, psychologists, social workers, librarians, media and language specialists, speech and occupational and physical therapists. Not only the roles that they play in our program in Gen Ed, but also in our alternative programs, including OWL and GOAL. It's awesome. WTA cares. Ooh, yes. Oh, yes, we're going to donate. We have a WTA member, Craig Johnville, you know him. He goes after things like no man's business. He is recruiting people, but also Lisa Cook is recruiting her husband, if you haven't heard yet. And if a certain amount of money is raised, you will all see an email tomorrow from me. I will send you the link if you would like to donate a couple dollars. We might have some other people jumping in the water as well. Why? In the spirit of the Special Olympics. Not just to see other people out there freezing, having fun. I really focused in on some of those things, but that's what we wish for all our students, that they find careers where their passion, their hard work, dedication overlap on a daily basis, that they can laugh, that they can have fun, and they can continue to succeed. I hope all of you take a bag. It will have something that has to do with the word that a WTA member did. Instead of a New Year's resolution, it was a word. The directions are included. Trust me, you don't want me to read them. I hope you all take a bag. Owl put together some goodies in there because you can't just give a bag with directions and a postcard. So I hope all of you enjoy. Have a wonderful evening. The game goes super well. And see you back in 4 weeks.
Thank you so much, Joan. Appreciate it. All right. And now for our first, kind of like as Joni said, our first campus news of 2024 anyways. If I could have three of my friends come up and join at the podium here. Heather Balsamo, Glenn Weedor, and Renee Reagan, if you guys could all join. All right, I'll start out, and the first thing we have to talk about here is just that we value feedback. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that we have a thought exchange that is live right now on our website that we would love to hear your feedback in regards to our budget. If you're not familiar with Thought Exchange, it is an online discussion platform where you can confidentially share your thoughts and views and objectively rate others' feedback. So please, if you'd like to participate, visit that story and answer the question, what are the most important things to consider as we begin to plan for our upcoming budget? And I just got a couple other pieces, but before I do, I'm going to turn things now over to the three of you and see if we can hear some other things that are going on around campus.
You go first? Up to you.
Yeah, Heather usually
Okay.
goes first, so I'm
All right.
sorry.
All right.
Heather
That's
Balsamo
okay.
is our UPK administrator. Heather,
My apology, because you heard from me last month.
we love hearing from you.
So just a quick snippet, again, to make sure that we stay on our timeline here, representing the elementary campus news. Thank you, Mr. Weedor. We're going to focus on goal number 2, culture and climate, and more specifically, intergenerational relationships and our buddy systems that we have throughout our buildings, specifically focused on our CARE and PBIS matrix. And so that's one example from Schrader. This one right here is Jack is actually playing his guitar with his sister singing to one of our pre-K classrooms at Schrader as well, and just doing some shared reading in the library with Mrs. Streggy. And then at Plank North, they were really focusing on some STEM activities you can see at the table. This was a 4th grade classroom along with our pre-K classroom. Again, just sharing the joy of reading and loving of literature, and then doing some large puzzles on the floor there in the middle. At Schlegel, they were focused again on some STEM activities. You can see we also have many grandparents who are volunteering throughout our pre-K, and the sheer joy on her face as she is, Mrs. Pliam is playing with our kiddos. And then the bottom picture right there in the center is a STEM activity where they were trying to build a bridge. And what we've been trying to do is really change the materials and the supplies that we're giving our students to be able to incorporate those curiosity, wonder, and innovation, no matter whether you're a fourth grader or a pre-K student, to be able to really try and think strategically through those materials and supplies. At State Road, again, just showing the leadership opportunities of our fifth grade safeties and school helpers there on the bottom right. They actually meet our kiddos at the cars and walk them to the playground where they start their day. We've started journal writing here in the second semester, and so this is a great opportunity for older students to come and demonstrate and help us learn how to commit to some print. And then there's another opportunity here with one of our grandmothers coming in for an opportunity there. I have a couple examples. Mr. Stahl, who you're going to hear from in just a few minutes here. He is actually going to do some still life drawings tomorrow with our pre-K friends and one of his art classes. I'm bummed that I can't be there because I have an observation. Sorry, Mr. Stahl. This one is an opportunity that at Schrader High School, where our students gave an idea about a monster, just using their imagination. And then the high school students conducted an interview to get some further information about color and setting, characters, shapes and sizes and other things like that that really help to build that, again, that literacy for our children. And then our high school students turned around, and you can see a couple examples there. They committed it to a sketch, and then they are going to be doing a digital drawing of that later on. And I'm super excited for Mr. Roller to get that presentation going so we can all go there and enjoy that. So that'll be pretty exciting.
That sounds great.
Plank South buddies as well. This is a long-standing relationship between pre-K and fourth grade. Lots of journal writing, play-based, and then one of the opportunities that our Plank South, many of our elementary students love is just that gross motor outdoor play. Not necessarily using the playground, but really finding ways to use our open space and play like we used to. And then I couldn't even quantify what we do at Thomas and Schrader. I know that you have all experienced Schrader last month and Thomas this month with Mr. Weedor. Again, those are just some examples of all of the incredible intergenerational experiences that our kids are able to feel love. So.
That's great. Thank you, Mrs. Rosamo. And now Mr. Weedor, our principal at Thomas.
Happy New Year, everybody. Before I jumped in, I just wanted to remind everybody that when I'm doing a secondary update, it's not just the 4 buildings, 2 middle schools, 2 high schools. It's Owl Middle, Owl High School, and Goal that encompass all the secondary programs. It's over 4,500 students every day who we're bringing into schools and working with. So first I want to announce that Spry, they have a new principal. So there's Dr. Callahan. So he was a teacher at Thomas back in the day. And then he was an assistant principal at Schrader, and he was at the Owl Middle program, and now he's the Spry principal. So congratulations to him. And as you can see in some of these pictures, Spry hosted multiple county events, multiple county teams in December for a chess club and academic challenge bowl event. Student council partnered with Making Spirits Bright by collecting, donating, and wrapping gifts for local families. Care Spirit Week, which included a dress-up days, activities, and a staff breakfast, was capped off by their annual Hoedown Showdown in the Spry Gym, where the music was loud and the laughter was louder. And moving over to Willick, we have another new administrator. This is Tiffany Lawrence. So she took over for Dr. Callahan in the Owl Middle School program. So congratulations to her, and welcome to Webster. She's coming to us from East Irondequoit, where she was a school psychologist for 18 years, so a lot of good experience coming to Webster there. At Owl High School, which is over at Thomas, they've been working hard this past month in both academics and SEL, social emotional learning. On the left, you can see some of our students ice skating for PE class. A few of our staff members like to join in on the fun and skate with the students in Mr. Clark and Mr. Reller's class. And in the bottom picture, you can see one of our Owl juniors climbing in PE class. On the right are pictures from their holiday gathering, where staff put together a series of games and activities for OWL students where they won prizes and enjoyed just being a community in the OWL program. Moving on over to our other high school program, GOAL, which is at Schrader. December is always a memorable month. So from holiday celebrations to outings with friends, it's really a time filled with activity all month long. And at the beginning of the month, they celebrated with over half their students receiving honor roll, high honor roll, or high honor roll with distinction honors. So they were all very proud of those students. And then on December 15th, a group of GOAL students escorted some residents from Cherry Ridge to Eastview Mall to do some holiday shopping with them and have lunch. And the residents and students enjoyed that time and they got to spend as a group. So they look forward to creating more memorable experiences with the folks over at Cherry Ridge. And I have a series of slides here. Both Joan Bardanis and our student liaisons mentioned Titan Day and Warrior Day. So that just occurred in that first full week back from vacation. I think it's the 14th annual Titan Day and Warrior Day. Is that right, Mr. Neenan?
Yeah.
14
I'd
years.
say 14.
No, I think it was my first year, so a long time.
2010, you're right.
So we are involved in that course selection process. Probably the most important process we do at the high schools because it does drive staffing. It's 100% driven by student requests. Those are some students at Schrader. There's Mr. Stahl, who you're going to see in a little bit. There's me in the background dressed as Professor X on the wall. That's not how I stand in the background usually on pictures. Wait, there's a double of that one, sorry. There's a music room, and just different classroom presentations. There's an art room over at Schrader. Oh, and we tried something new this year. So we had one of the houses at Willink. They stayed for lunch. We had to work it in. We made lunch. So the Willink students are getting a little taste of Mr. Weedor's pancakes in the cafeteria. Mr. Kramer in the background. And then last week, we had the pleasure of having some of our Board of Ed come over for a learning walk, something they do at all of our schools once or twice a year. So there's Assistant Superintendent Land and a couple of our board members speaking with some of our UPK kids who are learning how to use shave cream, it looks like.
Yeah, that's right.
So good times, good times. And this was mentioned earlier too, that tomorrow is Wear Flannel to School Day. It's sponsored by our PTSA, just as a fun little thing to do with a student at each of our programs and schools winning some donuts for the most flannel. So I'm going to turn it over to transportation.
Thank you so much. And yeah, Renee Ray and our Director of Transportation.
Hi, everybody. We'll start off with Bus Patrol. Our installation has been complete. Very excited about that. It took just about 4 months to have everything installed. Our new buses will be in February. It was a bit of a delay. So Bus Patrol will be revisiting us at that time to finish the new buses coming in. There is a 30-day grace period for violations going out. It started on the 11th. So at 30 days after that, which is in February, the tickets will be issued to citizens passing our reds. So there is a 30-day grace period on that.
So Renee, I'm so sorry, question.
Nope.
So they're actually working right now, the cameras?
The cameras are working, yes.
Right.
We're able to retrieve video, able to see live video, which has been helpful to us in certain circumstances, things going on the bus. So it's going pretty well. The view of the cameras is phenomenal, so we're,
Oh, that's great.
what is it?
Bus Patrol is supposed to send that 30-day notice out, though?
So
It's not on
they
our
don't
end, is
actually
it?
send a notice out, and there was some confusion on that. What happens is, say we pass a school bus with the reds on, that person is issued a warning saying that they did that, and that's going to go on for 30 days. And there was some confusion on that because we all thought that the public was going to be notified and
Right.
have a 30-day warning. That is not what happened. It is 30 days. They're going to have this warning period where, again, if you are in violation, you get a mail. You passed, reds on a school bus. This is your warning. And then, let's see, February 10th, that's when the tickets will be issued.
Okay.
Gotcha.
then
Listen,
that
you
would be-
pass a red, it's on you anyways, because
Right.
that's so dangerous, and I know it happens quite a bit, so.
Yes, it does.
Warning period or not, you shouldn't be doing it, so.
Correct. We will be looking to get some data as to how many cars are actually passing, and I believe Bus Patrol will be able to accommodate us with that. So it's a great program, and hopefully people, I mean, you get a few tickets, you're going to stop doing that. That is our hope.
Yeah.
Safer for the kids. Linda, did you have a question?
No, I would, more districts, are more districts joining in?
There
Because this
are
is
more districts
unbelievable.
joining in on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
And the data behind it.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
The 30 days, it's just this 30 days. It's
Correct.
every
It
person
started-
that passes
Oh,
gets
yeah, good
30
question.
days,
Yes.
right?
Well,
Like,
The 30, she's asking if I get a warning, does my 30 days start?
no, it started January 11th, and it'll go to February,
Right, that's what you were
February 10th. The tickets will be issued at that time. $250 fine.
Which we
That's-
don't get the money.
Right.
This is not like the district isn't cashing in on
No.
this. This is
Right.
all.
They are
This
not.
is in construction with the,
Right.
connection with
This
the
is
county.
Yeah.
with Monroe County. So it's currently, I believe we're up to 6 districts with a 7th district going through the process right now. We're not involved with the ticketing or the enforcement. We're just putting the camera systems on our buses, and it goes back through the county is actually the jurisdiction that is issuing through the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Since we have buses traversing all over the place, that was the solution for us up here. We're actually a little bit behind. This has been active on Long Island for some time now. So we just had to work through some of the municipal challenges before districts up here could start doing it.
Okay, and then are we sending anything out to, are we doing any kind of notification to the community to say, want you to be aware?
Brian and I are talking about that. The
Okay.
concern is, this is not under our control.
Right.
Right? And Adam Bello made this very clear, I think, a year ago now, that the county was pushing for this and was going to help districts do it. So
Okay.
it would have to be very clear that we aren't getting any of this money. This is a completely separate thing. But like I said, you pass a red, you pass a red.
This is, to me, it's not even about money. This is about saving someone's
Right.
life.
So there have been numerous, I mean, my husband was in one of the videos about why you don't, and encouraging people to
Okay.
remember you have to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of enough at this point, so
Yeah.
it's a nice chunk of change, so 250 is a lot.
hopefully that sends a strong message, right?
I feel like it's not enough. I'm like, this
But
is
we
so
can't be more clear
dangerous.
that we are not pocketing that $250.
Correct.
We get
Correct.
none of that. None.
This is definitely safer for our kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we did a study, over 200 vehicles passed our buses in a month. So,
Yeah. Hilton said the same thing.
yes, in 1 month. So this is definitely going to be safer for our kiddos.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, for
welcome.
giving us that update.
Any other questions on Bus Patrol?
Sorry.
Zonar, we're very excited about this program. We are hoping for installation to start early next week. All of our equipment has arrived, woo-hoo. This will give our drivers turn-by-turn navigation, much safer for our kiddos. No more paper routes, drivers reading that as they're going down the road. We'll be able to account for students on our buses, who's on our buses, when they enter the bus, when they exit the bus. Diagnostics will be sent directly to our shop. If there's mechanical things going on the bus, we can diagnose that right from inside the department. So we're very excited about that. GPS will be associated with Zonar. And Glenn, if you just click that little arrow there, there's just a real quick video on Zonar. Less than 2 minutes. parents may be able to know when their students were entering the bus, exiting the bus, to know where they are.
That's wonderful. I mean, I've experienced that
Yes.
uncertainty and calling
Sure.
in a panic, you know.
We get
to
those
find out-
calls.
Yeah, exactly. Find out they stayed
Johnny on the
after,
bus,
so-
how long before he's off the bus?
Yeah, that's
So
a
we're
big
excited about the
deal.
program. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
going to be good. And last but not least, Glenn, if you click to the next slide. Oh, he's working on it. There you
There
are.
we go.
Oop, oop,
Back,
nope, not
one
thank
more.
you yet. We are moving our routing software to Plus, still the same company, TransFinder. That'll work side by side with Zonar. Our routing team is anxious to get started. We've been through the training. Our hopes is to start routing our new school year the end of January, so.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
And, yes,
I just have a question about Zonar. If a bus is going to be delayed because of some mechanical error, would that allow you guys to know, so if parents call?
we could send a message out, and we
I'd
have
send a
that
message out.
program right now, but
okay.
we'll be able to.
It's been a little bit since my kid's been in school,
Yes,
so.
we'll
yeah.
be able to send a message
Message
out.
out, okay, great.
And then Renee, I imagine you guys are thinking about whether to allow parents to see the buses. You know, I don't know if it has that technology to see the bus coming on a bus route.
They'll be able to know when the bus is going to be at the house.
They will?
That is my understanding.
Okay.
And as I said, we're
I know you're in
just
the
getting ready
planning
to
stages.
get Zonar put into our buses.
Okay.
So there's a lot of features that it has, and
Yeah.
that is something that we are looking at.
That's
It'll be amazing. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're gonna, with the software, crawl before we walk.
Yes,
I know you
we,
wanna be careful.
Brian
We
brings
wanna
up
be
a good point.
careful.
We're going to have test pilots. We'll be testing this
Okay.
with maybe 5 to 10 buses before we actually go live with
That's
it.
good, like a pilot plan.
Work out all
Yeah.
the kinks and that kind of thing.
So a lot going on.
Yeah, super excited about transportation.
Yes, we're really excited. A lot of good changes.
Yeah.
That's what I have for you tonight.
And on that note, if anybody's interested in driving a bus, we could definitely use drivers,
Especially
right,
now,
attendants.
especially now that you don't
We
have
have
to
all
know
this great
north and south.
technology and safety,
Yes.
so come
With the
on board,
GPS.
right?
Yeah. Sonar doesn't drive the bus yet.
No, no.
No.
But if you're interested, Renee's the person to reach
Yes.
out to, right?
I think
you,
it's a big
Janice.
deal. There's a lot of people that have a tough time with, honestly, knowing I have to turn south or I have to turn east or west. Like, having that there opens you up to some more talent.
Doesn't hurt.
Well, thank you, the
Thank
three
you.
of you. I appreciate you
Thank
on
you.
that update. Great job. And there's really just one other thing that I wanted to mention here. We do have, we want to invite all district families to the first Community Engagement Forum of the year next Monday, January 22nd, from 6:30 to 7:30 at St. Rita's Church. That's 1008 Maple Drive in Webster. The district will share information on relevant topics and family engagement, hear from parents and students directly, and strategize collaboratively about action steps moving forward. And if you have any questions on that, our very own Dr. Chawel will be leading that. You can certainly direct those to him. So thank you very much, and that ends our campus news.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for letting us ask questions, interrupt there a bit.
All right. Fine arts, right?
Oh, yes. And now, actually, I won't steal the thunder of Mrs. Land. Mrs. Land, would you do us the honor of introducing our special guests for our presentation today?
For sure. Come on up, please, Fine Arts. So I'll introduce our Director of Fine Arts, which is Michael Roller. Welcome, Michael and team. Sometimes when you think about fine arts, you think about all of the performance aspects of fine arts, but the report tonight actually has some pretty cool data in it. So I'm excited for everybody to hear that and hear about the impact that our fine arts program has not only on our students and our staff and faculty, but our community. So Michael, with that, I'll let you introduce your team.
That's a great setup. Thanks, Erin. All right, so great to be with you. If I haven't had a chance to work with you, I'm excited to share a little bit this evening. And I'm with two wonderful colleagues that I will let them introduce themselves.
Okay, my name is Diana Mee. I teach band and lessons at Clem North Elementary and lessons at Schlegel Owl. I also serve as our district-wide elementary instrumental lead teacher. I have children at Willink and at Clem North Elementary, and I'm also a class of 95 Webster High School graduate.
Hi, I'm Todd Stahl. I teach studio and art, drawing 1, drawing 2, and AP art at Thomas. And I'm representing the building as the art department lead teacher.
Right. In the past, we've collaborated with the board on some interactive workshops that engaged you in some of the experiences our K through 12 students enjoy each day. With a little bit less time and some new faces, I felt it appropriate to share some facts, some data, as Aaron said, and like board goal number 3 asks, to tell our story that toots our horn and paints our students in the spotlight. Those puns are for you, Miss Land. All right. She told me I should do that.
Well, the work of our department comes from an amazing group of professionals. Images shown here are from collaborations at the Teachers Teach Teachers Conference Day this fall. Through peer-led sessions, we enjoyed conversations around alignment of skills and techniques. We highlighted the strengths of our students, and we worked on developing different ways to meet instructional standards.
Beginning in our summer professional development work and continuing throughout the year, we're working on goals that include curating a district art portfolio of student exemplars that meet grade level concepts. We're identifying diverse repertoire for performance ensembles that represent a wider perspective and background, and constantly seeking new ways to meet the complexity of our students' needs.
You may have noticed the total of new to Webster staff on this slide that we've welcomed over the last 4 years. It totals a quarter of our teachers in the fine arts from various reasons, retirements and folks moving on. I've been so impressed by the mentoring and openness shown by our veteran staff with hours and hours to support these new educators. With this youth also brings new ideas, potential for positive change, and the responsibility to evolve as a department. All right, rooted in the work you just heard about, it should not come as a surprise that we have numbers like this. And I'm not going to read every slide to you with lots of data this evening that you can certainly reflect back on, but our story tonight really kind of weaves it all together. So the 102 performances, exhibitions, displays, events, that's only counting something if it happens more than one time. We only counted it once. So like the upcoming musical that has 4 performances is only 1. So that number of 102 probably is a lot larger than that. We have honored tradition, community expectations, as well as artistic and musical pride that come with what we offer our K through 12 students. Then the fine arts as a content area has authentic visibility as part of our curriculum standards. We are supposed to share and to present and to showcase what our students have learned and are capable of. As examples, in addition to the frame prints, and if you didn't get a chance to see them when you came in this evening, they're over here on the table. We actually had 3 National Scholastic Art honorees this past year. To have 1 would be amazing. We had 3 in a year. So I hope you take a chance to take a look at those, and they'll be hung up in the hallway. And I hope a few of you are able to join us for the concert here this evening if you're not running off to the basketball game, too. All right, so these 2 quotes here are around research, because it's not just that we feel as though it's important, because we obviously all went into art and music because we love it as educators, but the research really does show that having the fine arts included in a well-rounded education is important. Included in our district board goals, especially 1 and 2 with the academic and achievement focus and climate and culture, it's embedded within our art and music participation. It truly is a part of what our students do on a regular basis. Some students may have a higher aptitude or interest in the arts, and everyone, though, can find a greater level of success because of hard work and complex learning experiences. If you're sitting in a concert or enjoying a display, you may just think that's talent. But I assure you that the impact of the learning process far outweighs the end results alone. Our staff strive to bring student voice and choice to the instructional experience where they can each find a place to belong and contribute their own special qualities to a wider purpose.
So when it comes to partnering with pre-service teaching programs in our region, Webster is a sought-after learning destination. We have connections with all of these higher education institutions for methods, class observations, field placements, and formal student teaching. This is because of a reputation and consistency of high-quality public school experiences that meet and exceed the capstone requirements of college degree programs. When asked, why do you do that, or why do you think I should try, our teachers hone their own skill set by articulating their instructional choices and modeling best practices.
Some of the big accolades in county, regional, state, and national honors often highlight student artists and musicians who are a little further along in their journey. This slide shows that for many of these students, a spark is ignited in elementary and middle school to participate in the fine arts, and a strong foundation to excel in their studies begins to develop. If you are eager to express yourself, there are many ways to join in on our art and music programs. The inclusive spaces of our classes and the visibility within our school culture creates a natural draw to be a part of our programs. This makes our buildings great places to learn and grow in the fine arts.
I will make mention of the data that's here are a lot of additional and extras that students want more. It's not just the base level of what's required by the state or what's the minimum amount that we have to do. We really pride ourselves on the fact that for a long time, the tradition has been that our students can meet and exceed their own expectations in what they're able to accomplish in the program because of the amount of opportunities they have and the chances that they can take throughout the year. So if you're looking for it, as Diana said, you can find a way to be connected. I'm going to skip the video for tonight.
It scared me. There continue to be a wide range of choices to fulfill interests and credit requirements in high school. We have many high-achieving students who challenge themselves with advanced placement options in 2D and 3D art, as well as AP Music Theory. In addition to the skills and mindsets they take with them into a wide variety of post-secondary fields, students can also earn college credit and a 5-credit sequence in the arts that fulfills the Regents Diploma with advanced distinction. Students explore the foundational elements and principles of our content, but also investigate trends and media that are emerging within our fields. The focus occurs within spotlight projects and opportunities in every class, but especially in AP courses and electives like advertising and graphic design, illustration, and music plugged in.
And the data on this slide here show the level of interest that we have at the high school level, from the courses that we offer to the students who participate in it, and really a point of pride is the amount of percentage there of seniors who continue it for the 4 years. We know there's a lot in a high school academic track, and interests and career paths and post-secondary opportunities that they're going into, but to keep art and music as part of that will serve them certainly well in their future.
As a department, we feel fortunate to have valued partnerships with parent, student, and community organizations that see the benefit of our fine arts programming. PTSA supports cultural arts within our buildings with assemblies, visiting artists, and other special events for our students. The PTSA also provides family support through the concert apparel event and by being the catalyst for our annual Community Arts Day. We are pleased to announce that this April they will be sponsoring an instrument donation drive at Community Arts Day to collect instruments for our schools to use.
Our student honor societies at both buildings have connected our student leaders with younger and older community members for performances around town. We've produced birthday videograms for senior home residents, organized sock drive donations to St. Joseph's House, and when asked to add another Empty Bowls event to help Community Chest celebrate 75 years of helping neighbors, our students, of course, said yes.
The Oak Tree recipients I have with me tonight, this year's elementary honoree, Diana, and Todd as a previous secondary honoree, both know, as I do, that if we are truly to meet the goals of public education, we need this essential family and community engagement from our vested partners within and around the school and community.
We want our students to take their creative ideas with them when they go beyond our walls. The arts are transformational, lifelong pursuits, coming in all shapes and sizes. Classes in our day and opportunities outside of our day allow students to connect with other people. ones who are like you, and maybe more importantly, not always like you.
Being in community with others can look and feel different from other individual pursuits. In the fine arts, we provide opportunities to participate across buildings, like our marching band, across generations, like the student-parent bands at both of our middle schools, and in unique offerings that expand our students' horizons, like our district show choir. There's an increased relevance to these experiences that stays with our students and helps to shape them into better versions of themselves.
I honestly haven't ever heard a Webster fine arts teacher say, "That's good enough." More likely, "That's a good start." To give an example, for several years, we've discussed and identified the need to do more for students in our self-contained and inclusion classes. Beginning this year, in our elementary grades, I'm grateful to say we have a teacher on special assignment who's been working collaboratively to explore strategies relevant to students with more significant learning challenges. We're broadening a greater toolkit of resources and best practices among the fine arts staff that help students with special needs to explore multimodal and multisensory approaches through appropriate adaptations and modifications. By meeting even more of our students at their developmental readiness and ability level, we're working toward ensuring all students can enjoy the positive benefits realized through participation in art and music. And we want to thank you as a team representing our Fine Arts Department for your time this evening. We're certainly proud to showcase what our students do and what the fine arts hold as a way for them to interact with their world and to increase their awareness of themselves and to have some confidence in contributing that with others. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And if you have any questions on all those great numbers, because music and art people really don't like numbers a whole lot. We would much rather show you something or let you hear something, but if you have some questions on any of the data that's in there, I'm happy to have future dialogue on that at any point in time.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. And the number one word that I heard you say earlier is process. It is such a process. And whenever we walk into your classrooms and whenever we see you guys all in action, it's just so wonderful to watch the process unfold in front of our eyes. But it's great. So thank you guys for all you do.
That's the magic of our jobs.
Absolutely.
Is watching it
Yep.
happen.
And
Exactly.
the socio-emotional part of it, because it really is a huge stress reliever and an outlet for kids. So to be able to go and you can see it, especially when they're in the art classes and even playing the music and singing, it's an outlet for them. So I love seeing all the variations. Please let us know any way that we can continue to support you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Appreciate it.
Great job.
With that, can I have a motion to approve the Fine Arts Instructional Report? So moved. Carole, second. Maria, all in favor? Aye. And that brings us to board business. Brian.
All right.
You're not
October's,
clearing the room as much as you have before.
no, that season is really going to kick off next meeting. Just a couple things on the treasurer's report to point out. Surprisingly, school lunch reimbursement from the state is only 1 month behind. Very unusual that we have funds showing up in October for claims we made in September. So that was a surprise. And then just on the appropriations side, you'll notice in the capital account, start to see some expenditures trickling in from the project that was approved in December, as we have some architectural and engineering, and if those of you that have been outside of Willink notice we did some testing around the parking lot for the new parking lot that they're designing there. Overall, cash balances are pretty high, so we're being very aggressive in their investments to make us as much interest earnings as possible for the month.
I think, Brian, you said that we're going to see some increase in expenditures for the food service so that we can spend down that.
Correct,
Right?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. Some of that's shorter term and some of it's longer term. We're installing dishwashers, so that requires some significant B&G work with it, so you might not see those right away, but some other things you will notice over the next couple months.
That's great.
Any other questions? Okay. Motion to approve the October 2024 Treasurer's Report.
So moved.
So moved. Linda, second Charlie. All in favor? Aye.
All right, next up is our federal audit for Mengel, Metzger, and Barr. Every year, they look at all of our federal programs, so that is all of our school lunch, which is a federal program, and then all of our grants. This year, they honed in on looking at the Title I grant and the educational stabilization, specifically the CRISA, which is kind of what you would call the CARES Act 2. It's the one that was right in the middle, that second funding that we received. All in all, they looked at that, and page 6 of the report, no findings. That our federal grants are being budgeted and expensed as appropriate.
Questions? Good. Thumbs up from Carole. All right. All right, motion to approve the federal single audit. So moved, Shanna. Second. Carole. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Extra class.
And next up is what I refer to as a wonderful game of whack-a-mole with the extra classroom activity funds. Anybody that's ever been a club advisor, class advisor, know it is probably one of the most abstract concepts in education is to follow the comptroller's guidance and rules and regulations for everything that's going on. And really rely a lot on the 4 central treasurers in the buildings. So every year, we kind of go through the same process. We're, for a district our size, this is an excellent audit, only having 1 to maybe 2 things per school, because, kids don't join a club to fill out profit and loss statements. And I know when I was a class advisor, I didn't get involved to fill out profit and loss statements. So we just try to do as much teaching as possible. We're going to revamp some of our centralized forms from some of the conversations we have to really help with a lot of the turnover we're seeing across the 4 buildings. The consistency of having somebody be the advisor for multiple years, we're not seeing that as much anymore. So there is some turnover, especially on the central treasurer side with the 4 secondary buildings. So we're going to look to do a little bit something more there. But all in all, pretty decent audit for the 4 buildings, considering how many clubs and extracurricular accounts we do have.
So Brian, for the ones that were identified that they had some, for the deficiencies that they found, do you guys sit down and talk with the existing treasurer to talk over this is what was found?
Yeah, we do generally on a quarterly basis meet with the 4 central treasurers and go over some of the things that we're seeing, asking for advice that they have back from the business office. So we do that on a fairly regular basis.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, with that, motion to approve the extra class audit and correction plan. So moved, Jen. Second, Charlie. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Next, we'd like to welcome our Monroe 1 BOCES, Mr. Tom Nespeka. He's here to give us a little update and some information.
Thank you very much for having me, allowing me to speak this evening. I want to give you a quick BOCES update. And first, I want to thank Superintendent Neenan for participating in the Management Steering Committee. He works very closely with our Superintendent Dan White at Monroe and BOCES to provide guidance and provide input to what the needs are of the various districts, along with other administrators here at this building and in this district. So I'll go through a few things here and just give you a quick update here. We are going to move the central district offices off-site because we're trying to create more space. Many of you were able to participate last year in a tour. We're almost done with all of that updating. Maybe next year, or next school year, you can come out again and see it as a finished product. With that additional space, we're going to try to put in more specialty, specifically for CTE, career technical education, and for special education. It's going to give us additional professional development meeting space also, because continuing education for our staff is always important also. We're looking to expand the number of CTE offerings to get more technical, because if you notice, we're getting we have the trades, the traditional trades and things like electricians, plumbing, carpentry, auto mechanic, food preparation, you name it. There's a lot of stuff going on there. What we're trying to do is get into some of the other technical areas that probably become more computerized and things of that nature. So we're working on that. We're trying to also look and recruit people in those areas. That's why we're hoping that some of these funds and reimbursement amounts get upped over the years. These are one of the different legislative issues we have to look at. So we're trying to hire those folks. And also, by getting more folks into the organization as teachers, we're able to accept more students that have been referred, and also recruiting students who have shown some interest in one of the trades also. The budget increase will go up a little bit. Many of that is because we have to move the offices and create the space. There's going to be some additional thing, but we're working very hard to keep that modest for sure. One point where we all can get involved here is the tracking of numerous legislative issues. Today, the budget came out from the governor, proposed budget. Depending on how she wants to let the legislature become heroes this year and push some things back in that may have been taken out, there were a lot of things, if you read through it or had a chance to look at it, I spent quite a bit of time with it this afternoon. It is Cuomo-esque, if I've ever seen it. A lot of things that you have to apply for and granting and things of that nature where some of that money's at. And we're, as you know, the foundation aid, yes, it's fully funded, but they're using numbers that go back to the year 2000, census of 2000. So it's almost a quarter of a century old when you put it in that way. So with that legislative issue in mind, a couple things that are coming up. The federal relations is next week, a week from Friday. I'm heading down to Washington. I've given some information to Brian to try to collect some information from the district. I'll carry the water unless anyone else wants to go with me. We do have appointments. I do have appointments with Senator Schumer and Representative Morelli. So I'll be able to talk to both of them about some of our issues. And we'll have quite a few folks from around the state coming. The board's going to go for sure, most of the board members. So that's Washington, and that takes place from the 27th through the 31st. So 2 weeks from today, I'll actually be going to the Hill. Then we also have on the 2nd of February, NYSBA, which you're a member of, is going to have the virtual Capitol Conference. So you get to hear virtually some of the issues that are going on from some of the state education leaders. On the 7th of February is actual lobby day, if you're able to go down on that day. The superintendents are having their conference in that area. I think maybe in March.
We're in March.
You're in
We're in
March.
March.
You're in March, that's right. February 3rd is hopefully you can get involved locally. Shadow Lake, we're having the Monroe County Legislative Breakfast. So far, according to talking with Amy last week, we have quite a few of the representatives participating this year. And I think Representative Morelli will be coming in from Washington also for that. He does do that in the past. So that is my BOCES update, and a little bit here if I have questions from you. And also, this is the year that I'm up for your consideration to be your representative, to continue to be your representative on the Monroe BOCES board. I put the bio that's out there on the NYSBA website. Something that's relatively new that I'll point out, not only the Monroe One BOCES board, but also the NYSBA board of directors. And I was just elected on the 1st of January to the National School Boards Advocacy Board. There's 7 of us across the nation. We'll give guidance to the national programs, so to really try to push IDEA and things of that nature. So I was just given a 2-year appointment to that. So I love retirement, keeps me busy. So at a future meeting, if you would consider, April is when the official time frame, but I wanted to come out early and give you this information as soon as I had it, and answer any questions you might have, if I can.
Thanks, Tom. I definitely, I like seeing, and I saw it in the newspaper too, that had come out about the different programs that BOCES is starting to offer going into the computing and things like that. So it's great to see that you guys are responding to what the kids are interested in and what new careers are coming about, you know, because people do associate it typically with those traditional roles and training, so
It's
I
gotten
don't.
much, much bigger.
It is. I don't think people realize
Right.
how much is offered through BOCES.
If I can tell you just a 2-minute real quick story, because I know you got to go someplace. But when I was the executive director of 4 county school boards a few years ago, my administrative assistant, her son went through BOCES electrical training. And I thought, well, gee, well, he must have a really good job. And she says, he does. And I said, what's this? And he is rewiring nuclear submarines now.
Wow.
With the credentials that came from BOCES. He passed all the federal tests. And first he started out, I had a chance to meet him when I was going out doing some mandatory training for NISBA for some of the new school board members. And I met him this past summer, and he said he was in his first emergency service. He was on a crew of about 20 people, and he was one of the mechanics that had to be on there as an electrician. And they took a nuclear submarine down below, and then they had to do what they call an emergency blow. And if anybody ever saw, was it Red October, I think was the movie? When that submarine comes straight out of the water? He said, that was cool. He said, he's about 25, 26 years old.
That's
He's got a
awesome.
tremendous job.
That's awesome.
Doing that. And he'll be working for a long time for the government.
That's awesome.
That's
But
great.
just to give you an idea of the education that comes
Yes.
from our system here in New York State and our BOCES.
Yeah.
These BOCES programs are sometimes what kids come to school for. So, I mean,
Yes.
for many years, I've actually taken tours with my students to visit the facilities, and I love going there every year. But more importantly, like, I've got students who may not have chosen to stay in school if it hadn't been for that goal, that purpose, that career that they knew they were going to be ready to do.
And the graduation rate that we've been tracking of the children that participate in those schools and those programs, whether it's CTE and traditional, especially the CTE where they go back to their home district, those students last year were at a 97% graduation rate.
That's awesome.
It's huge.
I just want to say thank you. Your dedication to education, to Webster and the greater area is inspirational.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy doing it. We got to make the better future. If it's not us, who? And if it's not now, when?
Right.
You know, we got to do it.
So I wanted to say congratulations on your national appointment as well. That
Thank
is
you.
huge, not just for us locally, but certainly for our state as well. And I also wanted to ask you the question, is there going to be heat on the February meeting there?
That's why we're going to be at Shadow Lake.
That's why we're at Shadow
Okay,
Lake.
good,
right?
all
They've
right,
known
good.
they've actually started the room on fire for us in the past. No, I'm just kidding. They did have a
Tom.
fire there a few years, so I'm just teasing. They did
Thanks,
have a little kitchen fire. But thank you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Great.
It's just information, right?
Yep. Yes, just information, yep. Yep, so we can move on to board member highlights. If any of the board members would like to talk about any of the meetings or events that they've been to in the last month.
We went to Thomas and did the tour. And I have to say, visiting these schools is the absolute best part of being a board member. I just hope I can do another tour of this because I'm having such a good time. And it's seeing you see these people sitting up here at the table talking, but when you see them in action and what is actually happening in the school, I love it.
Magical, yeah.
And the PTSA meetings too, but that's okay.
It is, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sometimes that's the case.
State Road PTSA, I just wanted to mention, I'm really impressed, because as parents, it's so hard, as we have all these important security measures that are put into place. One of the challenges for parents is how disconnected they feel from school, because you're not in school all the time, you're not at lunch, you're not in talking with everyone. So we have such a challenge of how to connect parents to school without being inside school. So one of the things that State Road has done, which I just thought was fantastic, is, they have what they're calling like a school committee, where they've invited parents to be a part of a committee in school where they're talking about PBIS, they're talking about the processes and what's happening in school, and they're giving input. And I just think that it's new, so they're starting it. I think it's a great opportunity for parents to get involved because it's foreign language. When you're not in school, you're not in that world. It's such a foreign language for parents, and we have concerns. And how do you communicate that and translate that into school talk. And so I think it's such a great thing that they're doing. And then as well as that, they're going to be putting out a newsletter twice a month where they're talking about processes with parents and kind of giving an overview and a brief understanding of that. Because, as they've talked about, New York State testing, we really want kids participating in that. So one of the things they're doing is explaining more about that and explaining more about the assessments, talking more about what we know as a board when we do our workshops, and there's MTSS, and we're talking about all this different terminology. They're putting out this newsletter to parents to help them, to explain it to them so that they understand as well, especially in elementary school, because you don't know what's going, and you don't know how your kids are, how they're doing, because you're not in there as much for all good reasons that we've put these, processes into place. So I think it's a great thing because the workshops that we do, I think the community would really benefit from them too. For me as perspective as a parent, not understanding the workshops and having the school and professionals educate on what these different things mean and the different types of support that we provide is so meaningful. So I think it's great that they're going to be doing that newsletter. They're really listening. They're trying very hard to listen to parents and at the PTSA meetings and really see what can we do to help you connect more. So I think that's fantastic. And the other thing I want to say is the Gaga Pit. They taught, they have been really working hard on this, and everyone that got on in this early was really lucky because it's $14,000 now for a Gaga Pit when it used to be $3,000. So the school is really helping with the installation on that, which leaves us $7,000. So we're going to see how they make out with the end of Wizards, but the kids really want this, and they've put together their own presentation, and so I think it's fantastic that positive movement is taking place on that. And that was it.
Anybody else?
No, strategic planning next week. It's
That's right.
labor relations tomorrow, and a lot of the PTSA meetings are starting back up, so there's not a lot, and, that's all I have. Good.
The only thing I want to mention is, the board does a lot of the business at these meetings, and these are the ones that are publicized, because we have certain things that we have to get done. But when we're not in a public session and we're doing a workshop or at a retreat, we're still working and we're still learning. So a couple of things I want to highlight is that we had our long-range financial planning workshop earlier this month in lieu of the budget coming and updating on some of our reserves and all of that. And it's a learning process. We also received an update at our retreat about the work around inclusivity and family engagement, and Dr. Chalwell led us through that. As Brian said, there's the engagement next week at St. Rita's. But we also talked about the district literacy action plan, and I really want to mention that because every once in a while we get a communication that we'll talk about. You guys don't talk about, the scores and what you're doing to increase literacy. We do. We've been working, Aaron, if you want to touch on that at all, but we have been working, the district has been working and informing the board on a lot of great work around really the next 5 years. We all want it to happen overnight, and it's great stuff. It's going to take time, but I just want to make sure that we highlight that tonight because you don't always see those things at these business meetings, but there is a lot of work being done around literacy and inclusivity that is going on. That's amazing work. That doesn't always get highlighted, so I just wanted to add those things to our public session, but.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So that ends board member highlights. The next up is the consent agenda. If everybody's had a chance to take a look at that. Questions? No, we get the consent agenda ahead of time. It's got a lot of stuff in it, and then we just approve it all as one. So I don't want anyone to think we're not following through, but as long as everyone's good, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved, Maria. Second, Jen. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. Next up is our visitor speaking time. So I just want to go over a couple of things very briefly. As per the district policy, we continue to follow the code of conduct. Every speaker has up to 4 minutes to address the board. It's not a moment for dialogue. The board is here to listen. We just have to refrain from using specific personnel names or student names. And we also like to encourage a positive environment with respect and tolerance, again, as per the code of conduct and as per all of our goals as a district and as a board. So with that, Heather, would you like to introduce our speakers? Did you hear it?
Did you hear it? Yeah.
I think you did.
First off, thank you guys so much for having this, to just listen so we can kind of vent and get things out in the open a little bit. 15 years ago, I stood in front of the Tampa Bay City Council advocating for the right to be able to use the bathroom that fit with my gender identity, and I was absolutely terrified. I'd never used a public male bathroom before. That day we did win. And when I left the courtroom, the first thing I did was I went and I used the restroom in the building, the male restroom. That was my first time ever. I don't think people realize how scary it is to be transgender in a world today. I'm also the founder of the Support Alliance for Fairness and Equality for Transgender Youth, SAFETY for short. I have a few of my members here with me. And just wanted to say that we would never tolerate any bullying or fighting from any side. We don't condone violence or harassment towards any adolescent in any shape or form. That's not what we're about. Those of you who have been, well, there have been people that have been attacking these kids, and these groups have come out of the woodwork, and it's actually helped us to galvanize our group involvement and to strive for change and equality for all trans LGBTQ adolescents. And we are really watching them because they're really coming out of the woodwork. These hate groups that the adults are using to attack the kids is unacceptable. Grown adults picking on kids. The Parents Informing Parents Alliance, the Fairport Educational Alliance, the bigoted podcaster Shannon Joy, Moms for Liberty, a nationally known hate group, and all the other cowards who are spreading lies and destructive information are creating a very dangerous and hateful community that we will not tolerate. They are trying to take us back to the days of segregation, but this time it's against the transgender community. These groups and the people associated with them are racist, homophobic, and only care about furthering their own agenda. Damn any kid that gets in the way. Pardon my French. To the people and the parents that posted this fight between two girls online from Spry Middle School, where those in the video can be recognized, what they did was irresponsible and dangerous. I do hope the board is keeping their eyes on these groups because I know we will be. These hate groups are so obsessed with what is between a child's legs, pardon my French, but we are the perverts. Transgender and gender-expansive students have a right to live their lives without fear and harassment, period. As a public school, you owe that to them. It is time to build gender-neutral, single-room bathrooms and changing rooms. I understand because these are kids, confidentiality is the #1 priority. However, silence from you, the school board, is reckless and harmful. Your silence shows complicity. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And for all the kids, gay, straight, trans, gender fluid, I don't care. We are going to be standing unwavering in our commitment to protect them, no matter what it takes. We will not be silent. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
All right. I'm here today. Where am I talking to?
That one's good.
Right here? I'm here today because I'm concerned about the county, the state of our county schools, and in response to an incident that occurred here. I want to see the school system revert back to teaching without political indoctrination into democratic socialist values. I am here to talk about equity ideology and its core principles in order to ask the question of when does the left go too far? Albany has introduced divisive equity programs via district task forces that act as conduits to instill correct morals by the state. In terms of defining equity, the equity director in Webster will not define the term equity, though he describes it as an equalizer. Before outlining the correct morals of DEI theory, we must first understand which group identities are marginalized by the Webster Equity Department. Non-whites, students of low socioeconomic backgrounds, LGBTQ, and students with disabilities. The equity ideology in Webster emphasizes the importance of defending these identities from oppression by adhering to several key principles: allyship, priming awareness, shifting perception, progression toward a global society and away from heteronormative culture, forming partnerships with outside activists, focusing on outreach and recruitment, and convening in collective power. The involuntary nature of this program constitutes a form of harassment against students who want to go to school to learn. It magnifies conflict where there is none. Students are being attacked and assaulted by equity allies who have been indoctrinated. There appears to be no limitations or boundaries present in the ideology whatsoever. The indoctrination present within equity ideology is divisive, exclusive, and intrusive. Let's give the Chief Equity Officer an opportunity to clearly stand opposed to this violence publicly.
Kevin, you're just talking, you're not engaging.
I was just looking over and seeing if I can get a react response.
You're not going to.
I question what the school board of trustees can do to focus on education while this infectious ideology strangles our schools. I want to see the system revert back to teaching without the political indoctrination into democratic socialist values.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we adjourn, we have a February 6th workshop, and our next regular business meeting is February 13th. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn, please? So move, Linda.
Somebody
Second.
beat me.
Carol, all in favor? Aye.
Happy New Year.
Yay.
Happy 2024.